Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Data Playbook. We've been through a couple Saturday games at this point, so if you need that information, go ahead and look at the channel for those videos. But otherwise, we're going to walk through the Sunday games now, and there's no other major updates, so let's just get right into it. Our second Sunday game is San Francisco going to Philadelphia, where Philadelphia is favored on the money line with a spread of 6 points and a total line of 44.5. And of course, down here you had your team totals, and we're going to flip those over to the averages. And these averages link up to the rankings. So we're going to walk through the rankings starting with San Francisco and the offense with a scoring rank of 10, a passing rank of 6, a rushing rank of 24. Defensively, they have a allowed scoring rank of 13, allowed passing rank of 23, and an allowed rushing rank of 11. For Philadelphia, you have a scoring rank of 19, a passing rank of 23, and a rushing rank of 18. And then defensively, an allowed scoring rank of 5, allowed passing rank of 6, and an allowed rushing rank of 22. Moving into your offensive data and your quarterbacks, you have Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts. I'm not going to go through fantasy since that doesn't matter at this point, so you might have to pause this video if you want to look at more of this information in detail. But here are their week-by-week information and their seasonal averages. And looking at their turnovers, you have 10 interceptions this season from Purdy, with 2 fumbles lost to his sacks. And Hurts has 6 interceptions this season, with 1 fumble lost to his sack and 2 additional rushing fumbles. And for their rushing share, you have Brock Purdy at only about 7% of the rushing carry share and about 8.1% of the rushing yard share. For Jalen Hurts, he's at 23.4% of the rushing carry share and about 22% of the rushing yard share. For your running backs, you have Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. Moving over to their seasonal averages and their week-by-week information if you need that. And the only turnover comes from Barkley with 1 receiving fumble this season. In terms of their carry share, you have McCaffrey at about 65.9% of the rushing carry share and about 66.4% of the rushing yard share, with the next largest portion going to the backup, Brian Robinson. With Saquon Barkley, he's at 62.5% of the rushing carry share and about 59.5% of the rushing yard share, with the next largest portion going to Hurts or Bigsby. For your number 1 receivers, you have Juwan Jennings and A.J. Brown. Here are their seasonal totals, and moving over to their averages, along with their week-by-week numbers if you need them. And the only turnovers come from Juwan Jennings with 1 receiving fumble. And looking at their charts, you have Juwan Jennings at 18.9% of the target share and about 16.7% of the receiving yard share, which doesn't make him the most productive receiver, but he has been out for a few weeks, so that might explain it. And then you have A.J. Brown at 30.1% of the target share and about 32% of the receiving yard share, which doesn't make him the most productive receiver. It does make him the most targeted receiver right now, but does not give him the most receiving yards. And some of that is also because he was out for a couple weeks in there. And then for your number 2 receivers, you have Ricky Pearsall and Devontae Smith. It should be noted that Pearsall does have a questionable status, so keep that in mind. But otherwise, moving over to their seasonal averages here, and with no turnovers, we'll go right to the charts, where you have Pearsall at about 11.1% of the target share and about 13.7% of the receiving yard share. And you have Devontae Smith at about 28.1% of the target share and 32.1% of the receiving yard share. And that makes him the second most targeted receiver with the most receiving yards on the team. For your tight ends now, you have George Kittle and Dallas Goedert. Here are their seasonal averages and their week-by-week numbers. And once again, they have no turnovers, so I'll go right to the charts. So go ahead and pause the video if you need this information. But otherwise, you have Kittle at about 14.5% of the target share and about 16.3% of the receiving yard share. And it's probably notable that the most productive receiver on San Francisco is actually Christian McCaffrey at 27% of their target share and 24% of the receiving yard share. For Goddard, he's at 20.4% of the target share and about 18.8% of the receiving yard share for the Eagles. So that concludes all of our offensive information. Just looking at these two teams head to head, you have an interesting matchup with the passing game, with a passing rank of 6 here on San Francisco against an allowed passing rank of 6 on Philadelphia, and it's perfectly equally the same on the opposite, with Philadelphia having a passing rank of 23 against an allowed passing rank of 23 on San Francisco. So that would indicate that the passing game's up for whoever has a better game plan in the end. So it's hard to say just based on the numbers how that will work out. For your rushing game, it's also somewhat similar with a rushing rank of 24 against an allowed rushing rank of 22 on Philadelphia. But it falls apart a little bit more with Philadelphia having a rushing rank of 18 against an allowed rushing rank of 11 here. So that looks like it gives San Francisco a slight advantage in the rushing game. The one thing with the scoring ranks, though, is that you have San Francisco with a scoring rank of 10 going against an allowed scoring rank of 5, and you have a scoring rank of 19 going against an allowed scoring rank of 13. So the disparities are still kind of there equally, even though I think that Philly loses a little bit more overall with a scoring rank of 19. against the loud scoring of 13. So it's really tough to say how this game will turn out, but I tend to actually maybe favor San Francisco a little bit in this game, just because of how dynamic Christian McCaffrey can be, especially between the rushing and passing game. And then you've seen your struggles this season with Hurts in Philadelphia. So for me, it would come down to, can San Francisco stop Hurts from running? And if they do stop Hurts, then I do think San Francisco wins this game, even if Philadelphia really does shut down Christian McCaffrey. But in the end, we'll just have to see how it plays out. And then wrapping up with our defense, it's not fully complete, as I've mentioned before if you've seen it, but I'm just going to quickly go through it if you need it, so go ahead and pause the video if you want to look at any of this information in more detail. This is starting with your left defensive ends. These are your right defensive ends. The weak side linebackers. The strong side linebackers. These are your left side cornerbacks. And then the strong safeties. The free safeties. The right side corners. And then the nickelbacks. And that's all your data for that game. I hope that you enjoyed and got something out of it, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and leave a comment on what other data you want to see in the future. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next game.